Today on Ballistic BBQ, I'm going to show you guys how to make the best pork belly burnt ends you've ever had. Let's get going. This recipe is yet another installment for Exmark's Backyard Life page. So if you're into the outdoor living, you're into outdoor cooking, fishing, hunting, DIY, landscape, make sure you check out the site. Let's get going with the recipe. So I have here about an 8-pound chunk of pork belly. This is skinless. You want to make sure you're using skinless pork belly for this recipe. The end result of this cook is going to be some just awesome sliders. So we're going to dice these up into about 2-inch squares to match the size of the buns that we're going to be using. And I'm not measuring, I'm just more or less eyeballing this. And here we are. Next thing we're going to do is make a homemade rub. So in my plastic container here, I'm going to add black pepper, white sugar, brown sugar, kosher salt, onion powder, garlic powder, mustard powder, chili powder, ground allspice, paprika and celery seed. Give it a good shake. And there we are. I'm going to go ahead and transfer this into a shaker bottle, then we'll get those beautiful pork chunks seasoned. So I have these chunks of pork on a rack, the same type of rack that I would use for smoking a pork shoulder. It's going to go ahead and liberally season these guys with that rub that I just made. All right, looking good. Let's go ahead and get these on the pit. So I'm using my pellet grill for this cook. We're burning black cherry wood pellets, and I'm running it at between 250 degrees Fahrenheit and 260 degrees. So we're gonna let these pork chunks get some smoke for about 3 hours or so, and in the meantime, we are going to make a really nice glaze that we're ultimately going to finish these with. Now, pork belly burnt ends are very, very rich, a lot of sweetness going on, and I'm going to try to kind of balance that out a little bit. They're still going to be very sweet, but I'm also going to be throwing a little heat here and there and some savoriness here and there. This is really not an entree, it's more of a kind of an appetizer or just something to have out, an hors d'oeuvre to have out if you're having a game day at your house or something. This being said, they are awesome. We're ultimately going to finish this off with a glaze, and we're going to make a kind of a wild cherry glaze. So I have the pot here on the burner, and I'm going to add some clear Karo syrup. Now to that, I have a concoction here that I made up last night, and I'll show you what I did. For those of you who do not know what pickling spice is, this is it right here. So in a nutshell, what this is, it's allspice seeds, it's mustard seed, coriander, crushed red pepper, black pepper, whole bay leaf. It's awesomeness right here. It really changes a sauce. So last night what I did was I took about a tablespoon of the pickling spice, 1 cup of water, and I simmered it until it ended up being a half a cup, and just let it soak overnight. Softens the seeds, and it just makes just this really amazing tea of spices. I'm going to add this, seed and all. Now I have here some wild cherry preserves, some pork lard. This is going to add a little bit of saltiness and also a lot of savoriness, so we're cutting the sweetness just a little bit. Then some cayenne pepper. I'm just going to add a pinch of this. It'll definitely change the profile of the sauce, and again, make it a little less sweet, kind of slap you upside the face a little bit, which is not a bad thing. Get this stirred up. So what I'm going to do is bring this up to a boil, then take it down to just a simmer. And more or less what I want to do is simmer it long enough to where that 1/2 cup of water is reduced to pretty much nothing. Just bring it back to that Karo Syrup consistency. So it's been about 30 minutes or so, and it's kind of foamy right now. There you go. It's looking good. I'm probably going to allow it to simmer at a very low temperature for another 15 minutes or so, then let it cool. As it cools, it'll thicken up a little bit. So one of the other ways that I'm going to kind of cut the sweetness of these sliders is with a nice coleslaw. Throw a little acid into the mix, and again, it'll help balance it out. We're going to make a very simple, it's like literally just, a small handful of ingredients. Very simple coleslaw dressing right now. Start off with a little mayo. Some fresh lemon juice. Apple cider vinegar. Some white granulated sugar. Some kosher salt, celery seed, ground black pepper. Give this a mix. And there we are. So this amount of dressing will easily dress one of those 14-ounce bags of pre-shredded coleslaw mix. I like to do this in advance, like at least a couple hours in advance. If you want, you could use this immediately, but I just think it's better to let it kind of meld a little bit. So see, I got the glaze done, pork's on the pit. I'll see you guys at the next step. There's a few layers to this recipe, but it's worth the wait, believe me. All right, we are 3 hours into this cook, and we are getting some smoke on these beautiful chunks of pork. I'm going to pull this pork from the cooker, put it in a small pan, and show you the next step. Okay, I've transferred the pork into a half tray, and now I'm going to hit it with some brown sugar. Going healthy here. Now I'm going to hit it with some agave nectar. Honey is fine. I personally like agave better. It's just a little lighter, a little less sweet than honey. And now some butter. I'm going to wrap it up with a little dehydrated chopped onion. And this will rehydrate while it's back in the pit. Cover it with some foil tightly. All right, back on the pit. Okay, we're going to keep these on the pit covered in foil for about 1.5 hours. What we're trying to do now is just really render out those pork chunks, those pork belly chunks, and get them really, really tender. See when they're ready for the next step. So that pork belly's been braising now for 1.5 hours. We're ready for the next step. What I'm going to do now is transfer this pork into a new pan. Now it's time for that glaze. There is what it looks like. So I'm just going to pour this on. That's about all I need. Now we're going to toss it by hand here. Just want to make sure that it gets completely coated. Okay, so this is going to go back in the pit. We're going to just allow it to set up. It should only take a few minutes. So after that glaze is nice and tight, we're going to pull it off the cooker. We'll let it rest a little bit, then we're going to try it out. All right, the sauce is set. Check that out. I'm at a loss. It looks awesome. And again, you guys can't smell, but trust me, it smells good. So now I'm going to make some sliders, but you got to check this out. Just look at that. Very happy with this cook. So I'm using sweet Hawaiian rolls, which I love. They go great with pork. Throw a pickle down. Again, that will cut some of that sweetness, that acid in that pickle. Now we'll lay down some of this homemade coleslaw. Pork belly, top it. And here we go, magic. Just look at that. Cheers. Oh my gosh. I could easily knock off all 5 of these sandwiches. Surprisingly, not as crazy sweet as you would think it was. If that makes any sense. It's very well balanced. Got a lot of acid going on in there, which kind of cuts some of that sweetness, and a lot of savory notes as well. It's really good. Really, really good. Wow. I love that crisp that the coleslaw adds, and also that little snap that the pickle has, that acidic bite. This is really good. Really good. I'm digging on it. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. Please check out the link I have down below for Outdoor Life. It's, again, everything wrapped up into one bundle if you dig on the outdoor lifestyle. Keep the suggestions coming in. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.